The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? It's hard to take a guy seriously who looks homeless, busts into Norm's diner and says the world is ending. I just wanted to finish my pancakes, man. But Amber and Scott, what they do, discussing good luck, have fun, don't die. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
I, for one, welcome our AI overlords.
I know you do.
Take me now.
Yeah, I know. You're placed the welcome mat out for them already.
Well, maybe I'm the one who's actually programming them. Maybe I'm God.
Alrighty, folks. I apologize for the episode that you're in for. We are talking about good luck, have fun, don't die. It follows a man claiming to be from the future who takes the patrons of an iconic Los Angeles diner hostage in search of unlikely recruits in a quest to save the world. Now, it sounds like that film could go anywhere, but it goes somewhere very specific, such as the AI overlords.
And norms. It goes to norms.
Norms, yes. That is the iconic diner for those of you not in the LA area. So where do you want to get started? That was a big sigh from me because, yeah, I'm already tired thinking about this episode.
There's a lot going on.
Okay, let me just set these guardrails for this episode. We are not going into a long discussion about time travel. We are not even really going there at all. I am still exhausted from our Nirvana, the band, the show,
The movie, the podcast.
the movie, yeah, that whole thing. I'm still exhausted from that a couple episodes ago. So we're not diving deep into the time travel element of this because it doesn't really matter. We're focusing on where everyone is right now. So you are in charge for this one. It is right up your alley with all the AI stuff and sticking your phone in your face all the time. So have at it.
Well, are we going to talk about the M virus one?
Oh my gosh, Jimmy, why are you here?
The M virus.
Yeah, no.
M stands for mobile.
Yeah, this isn't a zombie movie. Granted, people do get zombie-like staring at their phones, but but there's no brain eating, there's no transformations, there's no shambling.
Well, that's not true.
Actually,
there is brain eating, but it's the phone, and it's eating your brain. You just don't know it yet.
That's actually a good point.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say hi because I like being here.
Yeah,
That's it.
for those who don't know, Jimmy is our zombie correspondent that helps with zombie movies.
It was a little zombie.
Yeah, I can understand how you would.
I'm also an attention whore.
That is true. Yes, and to your point, yes, people having their face stuck in their phones all the time is somewhat zombie-like behavior. And actually, now that I think about it, they do shamble because they're not looking up to where they're going. They have their face in their phone.
They look exactly like zombies.
Yeah.
It's because they are.
You're actually kind of right.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave you go now.
Okay, bye. Bye. All right, Scott, grab the seat that Jimmy had.
Yeah, whatever. It's just easier to let him do it.
Yeah. All right, so go.
Wow. I don't even know. Like, a dude busts into Norm's, kicks everyone's
He didn't bust into Norm's, he walked in.
He was walking on tables. He's throwing phones.
Well, that's not busting in. He walked in, and then he was trying to get people's attention, and yeah, then he did walk on tables. I mean, he wasn't the Kool-Aid man. There was no busting.
That was pretty close.
Oh my gosh.
There's some Kool-Aiding going on there.
Wow.
Drinking of it, at least.
We were in the first 30 seconds of the film, and we already have a disagreement over what happened. But in fairness, it was a 2 hour and 14-minute movie, so the beginning of the movie was a very long time ago.
Like, okay, he comes in, and he's like, who wants to join me? Now, we live in the greater Los Angeles area. I've seen that person come into Norm's before.
The guy, the main character, the guy from the future who walks into Norm's, pretty much acts like a homeless person that many of us in Los Angeles have encountered at one time or another, who's just a little bit off.
The word you're looking for is meth. Meth.
I don't know if it's meth. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are homeless on the streets that do have severe mental health issues, and they shouldn't have been put in that situation to begin with. So I don't want to make light of that. But he walks in and he declares that he is from the future and he needs people to help him on this mission. And of course, they're all like, what the heck is wrong with this person? Someone should call the cops and get this homeless guy out of here. Long story short, he does get some recruits after talking to them enough, saying he's from the future and we need to stop what's going to happen. And I've already been here 117 times to this exact same diner. And he's calling people out of like, your name's Jim, you work here, you have, money in your pocket, all these things that people are like, oh, shoot, I actually do. My name is Jim and all these things. So
And the guy with money in his pocket, that was F and Scott.
Yeah.
F that guy.
Yeah, that was later in the film. But he's saying enough that makes you wonder, like, how does he know that?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly would be enough to call into question. You're like, hang on, okay. I don't think this is the Magic Castle. I don't think we're getting a show right now of some magician.
All right, so let's just start there with our what would you do? You're in a diner, some person walks in, he has a poor things moment where I think there's some urine that hits the ground through a tube.
It was some liquid.
Yeah, he was going for the Academy Award. And so what would you do if you're in a diner and someone goes into the diner, looks strange, has strange contraptions on, has a white or a clear kind of cape coat kind of thing on, and is saying he's from the future? What would you do?
If he can convince me he's from the future, I'm in.
Okay, well, he did what he did in the movie. He knows people's names.
Yeah.
He knows why they're there. He knows that the couple there is on a first date, and one of the women, or the woman on the date, has actually been trying to sneak out for the last 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, because he took her to Norm's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
no.
at least she got a full meal.
I would have been convinced.
Not a half of.
I would have been convinced, and I would have been in. Because here's the thing: people are stupid. Just a lot of people in general. And if the fate of the world is actually at play here, I'm not going to be the one sitting on the sidelines. Trust me, you need me. You need me.
Heaven help us all. So here's the thing. Initially, he seems like a crazy person. But after a while, I'm kind of bought in a little bit. And I'm inclined to think that after his whole speech and walking around and doing all this stuff, I'm almost inclined to say that there is a part of me that would want to feel adventurous and spontaneous enough to say, yeah, I'll go with you.
Oh, I'm not going to be the Boy Scout leader.
Do you want to elaborate? When
The
you're
guy,
in charge,
the Boy Scout leader with the gun who got...
Yeah, no, I know who it is, but we have listeners.
Yeah,
they're listening to us.
Literally, he got told to go run out there and sacrifice himself, and it ended up being for just absolutely no good reason whatsoever.
Okay.
Because they knew about the door.
Yeah. That's
In the
stimulating.
office.
That's
Why
stimulating.
does Norm's have a floor escape hatch?
Yeah, they never really explained any of that. So we live in a very bizarre world in the context of this movie. On one hand,
And outside the context of this movie.
Yeah, I know I saw a date somewhere that I believe said 1999, but there were mobile phones like there are today.
Yeah, no.
That didn't make sense. No, I know I saw a date. It was 98 or 99, and I'm not thinking of another movie from something we saw recently.
No,
I
saw that too, but I think that's... It wasn't present time. It might have been a flashback, but this was
wasn't a
definitely supposed to
flashback.
be within the last couple of years.
So we start off, and I'm not going to do the play-by-play on this because it's a 2-hour and 14-minute movie, and we don't have 5 hours for this episode. But we basically live in some sort of weird world where we have a scene with a school, and the teenagers are just on their phones all the time during the class, and the teacher's like, are they allowed to do that? He's a substitute. Are they allowed to do it? And the teachers are afraid of the teenagers. And
Well, that's real life. Seriously, talking to people I know who are teachers, this dynamic that used to exist of teachers are in control is not the dynamic.
Well, and it's not
part
even,
of the downfall of civilization.
It's not even a discipline thing. It's we're on our phone and the substitute teacher says we're going to read Anna Karenina, and someone's like, is there a movie on that? Oh, it's a podcast. Oh, it has this person. And then they're all just checking it all on their phone of like, oh no, the podcast sucks, or the audiobook sucks. Number one, I'm really glad I'm not growing up in this society, and I'm really glad I don't have a child growing up in this society. But it's this weird dynamic where teachers just kind of disappear and they supposedly go on sabbatical. But ultimately, the substitute teacher he touches one of their phones, and it triggers this whole thing where they all get very zombie-like, which is why Jimmy was here earlier, I'm sure. And they just start walking after him in a shambles way, looking down at their phone, but then also trying to get him, like bashing through doors and whatnot. So, and we also have a school shooting where a woman's kid gets killed, but then she can have him cloned, but he has ads, kind of like an episode of Black Mirror.
I was about to say this whole thing started as like a giant Black Mirror episode.
Yeah. So it's a very bizarre society. So it's rooted in what's happening now, but then there's also elements that are a little bit more extreme. So I'm going to toss it back to you because you're in charge. Where do you want to focus with? I say that to mostly set up kind of the bizarreness of some of the things we know today, but then just taken to a whole other level.
So here's the thing. You kind of have a decision when you're in norms.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get out of norms, you're pretty much done with your decisions for the most part. Like, it's like, okay, I've decided we're in on this. We have no idea what's going on. We have to play follow the leader.
Yeah, and basically what the quest is, that the man from the future, he doesn't have a name, he's just the man from the future, is they need to get to a house across town where a 9-year-old is basically the father of AI. And
as one does.
And the man from the future needs to install something that puts guardrails on AI. So there's some sort of safety protocol, and it's not just the absolute Wild West, because in the future, that has consequences. So he is there to put some guardrails on AI.
Yeah, probably needs some guardrails.
Yeah, we saw a screener for a documentary about safety in AI and the people involved in it. And even in current events, we've seen some people leaving AI companies over safety concerns. So, yeah, I mean, it's funny because this film was not filmed within the last couple of months, but it feels like it could have, should have been because of where we are with AI right now.
Yeah, no, it's very true. I mean, and like AI is a legitimate threat. Like if we're not careful with it.
Oh, yeah, it'll launch nuclear bombs.
Yeah. I mean,
it will start World War III.
I mean, it makes for some of the greatest movies right now. Unfortunately, these movies might become documentaries before it's all said and done.
Yeah, not movies made by AI, but movies where the subject is AI and the consequences of it. What was the one about the car with Aya the car?
Oh, Afraid?
Afraid, yeah. Afraid, if that doesn't tell you all you need to know. So we have this group of people who have volunteered to go across to find this child. But since the man from the future has already been on this quest 117 times, he knows where things are. He knows where this is where the rats are, and this is where the crazy person with the knife is. And he has a whole big map because he's gone through this several times before. What would you do now if you are on the other side of norms and you now have some more clarity about what you're doing? And also, too, the understanding that you might not survive. He's been very clear about that. Like, I survive. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I have my finger on something that makes sure that I survive.
Yeah, that zaps him out back to his time so he can start again.
He was very clear. I am not expendable. You are.
Yeah.
Well, most of them.
And one of the people in this ragtag group of folks is a girl who is allergic to tech.
She's just allergic to tech in period.
Yeah, since she was a young child. And if she is around technology, her nose bleeds and she starts to get really sick. And she is at the diner that night because her boyfriend has decided to live in an alternate reality, basically a reality that he has discovered in a VR headset type contraption. And up till then, they were wonderfully enamored with one another because he didn't have a phone.
The dude showed up delivering a pizza with a Thomas guide.
Yeah, I used a Thomas guide to find the house to deliver
For those
the pizza.
of you who don't know what a Thomas guide is, it's that thing we used to use before phones or MapQuest to figure out how to get places.
It was a book with 400 pages that you had to flip through to find the area that you wanted to go to, and they had them for all different states and cities and regions, and they were super expensive.
And it didn't even show you real-time traffic.
Well, of course not, because it was paper.
I know. It's
Yes.
the joke.
Yeah. So she is at the diner because he has now said, I'm going to go live in this alternate reality because it's better than our reality now. There's a lot to unpack here. So again, we can't do the play-by-play on this, but what would you do if now you're on the other side of norms? You realize there's a map. You realize there's a quest. You realize that, hey, you might die. Do you keep going? Do you embrace the adventure of it? Or do you think, okay, yeah, I'm going to walk away now?
No, if I'm in, I'm in. That's just it. Like, I'm going to make that decision at Norms, and whatever decision I make, I'm in.
See, and there was one guy whose name was Scott, and he did get on the other side, and at that point was like, I think I'm going to get out of here. This guy's crazy. Maybe we take him down. We could do that. And then the man from the future basically tells him, you have 47 cents in your left pocket. And sure enough, he looks and he has 47 cents in your left pocket. So you keep getting these little tidbits of evidence that, hey, this isn't just some weirdo. There's something here. Do you trust your gut that there's something there? I think I would. Like, something's happening here. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think you have to. Also, I think that guy might have had a hard time on his first trip. Like the first time he goes into Norms?
The man from the future?
Yeah, because he doesn't know anything about anyone yet.
Yeah.
That would just be weird. I'm from the future. I can't prove it because I can't tell you how much money you have in your pocket or anything like that.
I see what you're saying is he's accumulated facts over 117
Yeah, of course. It gets easier the more you do it.
Of course.
So, yeah, no, I mean, you kind of have to be in. And at a certain point, he shows he knows stuff and you run with it. And it in some ways, it's easy to put the IRL in this movie, and in some ways it is not. Because while I definitely think that we are going to have our AR overlords eventually, I do not believe it's going to involve a wire tornado with a 9-year-old in the center of it.
Yeah, there is an old movie called Powder, and it is a very pale teenage boy with no hair. And that's what this kid on the pile of cords and wires reminded me of is the character from Powder, even though he was younger.
It looked like the kid from the child empress of the Never-Ending Story.
So
it's like
you
really
said,
kind of creepy type thing. No offense to her.
Okay, I'll have to take your word on that because I haven't seen that film. So, oh gosh, it's kind of hard to figure out where to even jump around in here.
It's...
Here, let's go here.
I want to make it clear that I actually did kind of enjoy the movie, as completely unhinged as it was.
Okay, so they basically get almost to the house. Almost to the house. They are across the street from the house, and they're in another house, and they're looking at the house, and they're like, yeah, we're here. And it's like, no, I've gotten this far before. There's always something that comes up. There are Navy SEALs or tornadoes or samurais. There's always something that comes up, so we can't get to the house. I've never been further than this. And this time, what comes along is the teenagers that we referenced earlier that were trying to get the substitute teacher.
You know what? I want to note something here.
Okay.
If you don't see the problem yet, go. Don't wait for the problem. Be like, maybe we're ahead of schedule. Maybe we can get to the house before the problem. You don't get here that often, dude.
Okay.
Let's run for it.
Okay. Fair enough. So it turns out these teenagers are one part of this problem now, the obstacles, the ones with their heads down and their faces glowing and looking at this triangle on their phones and very much in a trance trying to get these people like they were trying to get the teacher. And the teacher actually is one of the ones in the group. Two of the teachers are the ones in this group of ragtag adventurers. And they ultimately decide, hey, we're going to help the group. We're going to distract everybody. So they come chasing after us. And at that point, then it is down two people. One woman died earlier. And they get to the house. Even though at this point now a large cat made of cats has appeared. And it appears to eat people.
I'm still here, by the way.
Hey, Jimmy.
Let you know, it was fine for them to distract those zombies because they were M-virus and they're really slow.
Okay, so
They're just really slow. I'm just pointing that out since I'm still here.
Why are you still here?
I want to be.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Now come back, Jimmy, as long as you're
Okay.
here. Explain the M virus to me.
Yeah, so the M stands for mobile.
Okay.
It's actually the virus that actually is in the major real world that y'all know about. Like, y'all don't know so much about the R virus or the T virus. Like, I'm a T virus.
Is that like a T-Rex?
It's weird.
Okay.
I don't think I can explain it in the way that you'd understand it. It came from a chemical lab.
Okay.
But the M virus, it came from like Apple and Samsung, pretty much.
Okay.
Them
Okay.
Androids and they turn people into androids.
Okay.
It's a weird zombie offshoot, but it's kind of the real one.
Yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Jimmy.
Okay.
Okay, bye. The mom of the clone kid who died in the shooting, the girl that is allergic to tech, and the man from the future finally make it to the house. And they find the 9-year-old boy who, as you said, is sitting on top of this mountain of cords, typing away code at his keyboard. And it turns out the guardrails that the man from the future was supposed to install, they don't actually work. It's not a thing. And then...
Well, yeah, I mean, eventually. Like, you go through a long scene of, like,
oh, yeah. It's
man
a
from the
214
future, I am your mother.
Yeah, and that's where ultimately it ends up, is it turns out the man from the future is the son of the girl who's allergic to tech. And we have this whole full circle moment. So what would you do if you were the girl who is called Princess, because she dresses as a princess at parties, because generally children don't have phones, and that's the only job she can have where she's not exposed to tech is children. But as time passes, more and more children at the birthday parties where she dresses as a princess are starting to have phones. And so then she starts the nose bleeding and she has to stop because all of these little children now have phones. But what would you do if you were princess and you realized that the man that you were on this adventure with is actually your son from the future?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, here's what's weird, is the software that we use for Duncast, which is amazing,
Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have said that word.
is going to actually pull that disfluency out, which is when I went M, like that. And I actually would want that one in, weirdly, because I feel like that's where you actually want that. Most of the time they're bad. So we won't even be there. But that's okay because we clean up everything else. It's a fantastic software. Still in beta right now, duncast.com. If you've ever wanted to try a podcast, try it out.
Okay, you just dated the episode. We might be multimillionaires on a beach by the time someone listens to this
No,
episode.
not by the time this thing comes out. Trust me.
No, people... Are you kidding me? Podcast episodes have a shelf life of months or years.
Well, yeah, but this is going to come out somewhere in like March of 2020.
that doesn't matter. Someone could listen to this of March of 2078.
Oh, we're definitely like Bill and Ted type heroes at that point.
Okay,
For sure.
Okay, that was a tangent. I apologize, people, and
She'll do better next time.
you're the one that went down the road of the ad and the dating of the episode. Anyway.
I mean, if the people can get installed with ads, I can put one in my podcast
Okay.
for my own software.
Alrighty. So back to my question before your UMYEA8, which was
Are we going to go for a WALK when we're done here?
Which was, what would you do if you were a princess and you realized the man from the future is your son?
You know, that situation is already just so screwed up in so many different ways. I'd be like, yeah, of course he's my son. Like, of course. at this point, it's just so whack that there's really nothing that you're going to be like, yeah, no, this isn't real. This isn't realistic.
You know, it's funny. I think if I had seen this film many years ago, and obviously many years ago it would have been a sci-fi film and not, like you said, practically a documentary. But I think as I get older, I am more inclined to embrace the, okay, let's try this and see what happens kind of a thing with stuff like that. You say you're from the future? It's actually possible. If you had told me that, many years ago, I'd be like, yeah, that's what movies are made of. But based on where the world is going and where we are today, if someone tells me from the future, I might be more inclined to listen than I was in the past.
I do like a good F around and find out.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.